se? Oh. Now it's Kristin for her third shot, preparing a sidearm. Gets through everything, and I think it's in circle 2 or on the edge of circle 1. Jenny preparing for her par putt. From the circle 2, but 15 meters to the basket. It's the top of the basket. Just outside of circle 1, Lykke for her birdie. And from the left side chains. Now Maris also for her birdie putt. And cashes it in. It's about 11 meters. And from the same distance, Kristin for her par. Yeah, and in the middle of the basket. Great shots. And Jenny for bogey from 2 meters. And Lykke for par. We have hole 13, 94 meters. Turns over. It's over the fort banner, but hits the tree right behind it and kicks right side of the fairway. And the rough. Up next is Lykke. Gets through every tree, and I think it lands in the middle of the fairway. And then Chris. Hits a few branches on the way and drops to the right side of the fairway. And last on the tee pad we have Jenny. Takes the tighter line, and it looks really good. Should be at least in circle 2. Next for her second shot is Maris. She's locating the basket. Try to find a line for her shot. The tree on the way, and the disc lands to the left side of the fairway. It's still Marisa's turn for her third shot. And her sidearm shot nicely, a couple of meters from the back. next is Christine for her second shot. She's deciding to jump pot her approach, and it is right under the basket. It's Jenny's turn. She's in about 13-14 meters from the basket. It's Lucas' turn, and she's about 11 meters from the basket. That's for her birdie. Yeah, she gets it in. And then it's up. Next is Maris for her bogey. Okay. Next, Jenny for her par. And then Christine also picks up her par. And now for hole 14. We have 135 meters, straight shots, par 3. Again, a quite narrow gap, which you have to hit. And again, it's quite difficult if you go out of the fairway to the rough. It might be difficult to get out of there. First on the tee pad we have Lykke. The shot goes to the right side and hits the tree, drops down straight. Up next is Christine. It turns over a bit too much. To the right side, and might be difficult. Next up is Jenny. She hits the tree on the left side and the disc kicks to the right side. Last on the tee pad we have Maris. gets nice straight shots, and it hyzers to the left side, but it might be just be in the open area, or at least on the edge of it. So there should be open look to the basket. It's Jenny for her second shot. Gets a good kick from the tree on the left side of the fairway and lands to the open. Next we have Luke for her second shot. She's going with the sidearm. Lands in the circle 2. Haluatko sä tän?
As we're watching for the ladies approach the basket of hole number 14, we're also changing the voice of the commentator for a while. Kristin Tattar throws a sidearm shot, skips right underneath the basket. She should have only approximately 4 to 5 meter pot left here on hole 14 at Ford. We're following the lead card action for round 2 from the Ford Disc Golf Park here at Tyyni 2019. Sandvik up next, with about a 70-foot putt, so 20-meter putt. Look, gives it a great bid, just a bit off on the left side. Maris is attempting a jumper just outside circle 1. Oh, hits the cage just a little bit low, but that was a very nice run. Ennui taps in her putt from about 5 meters. Sandvik from a similar distance. Cans it in beautifully right in the middle. Kristin also, an easy tap in from about 4 meters. And Maris cleans her putt to finish off hole number 14 here at Ford Disc Golf Park. We're moving on to hole number 15. Hole number 15 is a straight towards the right par 3 hole of 102 meters. The only real danger are the woods on the right side. Remember that you can check the live scoring from udisclive.com the entire time to see how not only this card but all of the other cards in FPO and MPO fields are doing today here at Ford. Next up on the tee is Kristin Tattar from Estonia. So it's 102-meter hole that is trailing towards the right at the end. That looked like a nice Anheuser shot, but that unfortunately stabled out a little bit too soon, and she is about 40 meters away from the basket on the far left side, but she still should have a look at the basket from here. Sandvik up next. Eskelinen, Finland, up next on the tee, lining up an Anheuser shot, it seems. She throws it on a nice looking low line and it's trailing towards the right very nicely, and it looks to be just shy, just a little bit short of the basket, but that should give her a putt for a birdie. Finally, Maris up on the tee. Maris also throws an Anheuser shot. It's trailing towards the right very nicely. It's a little bit shorter than Jenni's, but she should be able to at least try a putt for a 2 from that position. Kristin picked up a stroke on the rest of the card on the previous hole, which brings her now tied at 3rd place, together with Maris Perendi, with the total score of 9 over par, trailing the leader, Jenni Eskelinen, by 2 strokes, and then between them, Sandvik in 2nd place, 1 behind Jenni. So it is still a very tight race at the top, and if we're looking down the scoreboard from here, the other ladies are not very far behind, with only about 4 to 6 strokes separating them from the leaders. Jenni's shot. No, I think Maris is still further away. A little bit pinched on between these trees on the right side of the fairway. She is only about 20 meters out. But the clear line towards the basket seems to be somewhat obstructed. There is a small tunnel on the right side, and it looks like she's attempting to use that tunnel with a sidearm approach. Maris unfortunately catches a branch from that tree, leaving her about 12 meters short of the basket. With a look for an Anheuser putt, probably. But we will see how the rest of the hole will play out. The group is searching for Kristin's desk currently. And it seems that they found it. She is a little bit pinched just behind that junior pine tree. So she will be attempting a putt from the knee from about 20 meters out. She is pin high, but 20 meters left of the basket. Just missed on the right side of the basket. She has about 3 meters to go. Next up is Sandvik from a similar distance, but from a slightly more clear lie. Oh, she cans it in from about 16 meters or so. A beautiful putt. That gives Lykke a birdie on this hole, which now increases her lead over Kristin and Maris with at least 1 more stroke. Maris just missing on the right side from outside of the circle 1. Up next to putt is Jenni Eskelinen from just outside of the circle. This is where her drive landed. The putt is a little bit obstructed between those 2 trees. she hits the cage, unfortunately. With Lukka draining in her birdie putt, this will now tie her together with Jenni at the lead. Maris taps in for her bogey 4 here on hole number 15. While Kristin cans in the putt for her par, which changes the order of our players in the lead card, so that Jenni Eskelinen and Lukka Sandvik are now tied for the lead at, I think, 8 over par, but you can also all check that score from udisclive.com to see where we are. So no, it's a 7 over. So Jenni and Lukka are currently tied for first place with 7 over par. Kristin took a leap to solo third place now, trailing 2 behind our leaders, and unfortunately Maris with that bogey drops down to 4th, trailing by 3 to our leaders, but it is still anyone's game and there are a lot of holes to be played. A few more today and 18 more tomorrow. We're here at the tee pad of hole number 16. Hole number 16 is all about hitting your line and hitting your angle. It is a right trailing 100-meter anhyzer shot between the tunnel of trees. There is danger on both sides in the form of tree kicks, with the right side probably being the more generous of these two sides. However, the key to getting your birdie 2 on this hole is to hit a high anhyzer, commit to that shot, and make sure that it carries all the way towards the pin. First up on the tee is Lukka Sandvik from Norway. That shot did not have quite enough angle. It stables out a little too soon and she still has about 50 meters to the basket. Fortunately, that did not kick very far into the woods. Kristin Tattar up next. Oh, she hits an unfortunate tree on the left side of the fairway with still about 80 meters to go. Jenni Eskelinen up next. Jenni commits to that shot and it's trailing right very nicely, sliding almost underneath the basket. That one was a very well executed shot. Maris fires it on the inside line, trailing very nicely towards the right. She's nearly in the exact same spot where Jenni's disc landed. So these two ladies are looking at possible putts for birdie 2. With that unfortunate tree kick, Kristin still has about 75 meters or so. And a fairly obstructed lie as well, because of the trees in the way. There's always the sidearm option along the fairway from where she is, or she can try a backhand line as well. But she is opting to go with the sidearm, because that is where the space is. It's looking very good. And yes, it lands well inside the circle. She should be able to throw a nice even par from that spot. Next up, we're moving to Lyckaslai, which is also here on the left side of the fairway. She has still maybe 50 or so meters, between 40 and 50 meters. So that would be about 150 feet, more or less, still to go towards the pin. Lykkä is opting to go for the sidearm as well. She goes behind those guardian trees, landing beautifully underneath the basket. She has only about 3 meters left for her putt. Jenny now has the chance to try to capitalize on her good drive and extend her lead, or extend her to go solo lead, with Lykkä looking at par at best. Jenny's just outside circle 1 with hers. So is Kristin actually. Her shot was slightly shorter than anticipated, and unfortunately it slid into one of those potholes guarding the green, therefore preventing her from getting that slip or that slide nearer to the pin. She cans it in from about 12 meters for her par. That was a very nice looking putt. That fist bump also tells that she really wanted that one. Now Jenny Eskelinen from just outside the circle's edge. She just lays up underneath the basket. Perendi from a similar distance, but with a slightly less obstructed look. She drains it in. Very well executed putt. So with that birdie, she is now tied for 3rd place together with her countrywoman Kristin Tattar. That is a par for Jenny, as well as a par for Lykkä, which means that we now have a tie for 1st place as well as a tie for 3rd place, with only 2 strokes separating the leaders and the 2 ladies sitting at 3rd currently. We're now moving on to the tee pad of hole number 17 with 2 more holes to play. Hole 17 is a straight tunnel shot up the gut of 128 meters. It is a par 3, and the ladies are looking to get their disc moving uphill, where the basket is located on top of a crest on the left side. For the power throwers, this is a hyzer shot over the trees on the right. However, you still need to be very committed to that line due to the guardian trees, both on the right and the left side of the fairway at about halfway between the tee and the basket. This is one of the longer holes here, with 128 meters to go. to the basket. So the basket is on the left side of that far crest you see in front of you. So a hyzer shot through the trees if you are a right-handed backhand player. However, it is slightly uphill, which makes this hole relatively long. 128 translates to something like 420 feet or so. Maris throws her shot, that escapes a little bit too much to the right, and you have to see how that lie is when we get there. Sandvik up next. She aims for the gap, fades out a little too soon towards the left. She is closer to the basket in a slightly obstructed lie. Tattar up next. She cannons in her hyzer going on the right side of that guardian tree, fading beautifully right underneath the hill. That is in the center of the fairway, just about 25-30 meters short of the basket. Eskelinen trying to follow suit. Her disc flips a little bit too much to the right, gets a tree kick, however she kicks towards the fairway. So she should still have a decent lie with maybe 150 feet or so. So 45 meters or so left between her and the basket.
Visst kyllä? Joo, kyllä.
Joo, kyllä.
So it is Maris up next.
Look away. Maris first.
Maris is looking to go tomahawk. No, sorry, she's looking to go thumber over those trees to hit that plateau in the middle. The thumber is trailing in towards the left beautifully. That is an excellent shot. She is 20 meters shy of the basket, right next to where Kristin is currently. Next up is Lykke from a similarly obstructed lie, but on the left side of the fairway, and she is opting to go thumber as well. She throws in her, actually that was a sidearm, a touch sidearm shot to reach the middle plateau. She is in a very good position where she can still see the basket already from there. Up next is Ennui. Ennui throws in a putter approach, hitting the top side of that crest, sliding uphill. She should have a fairly easy 5-meter putt left for her. We're approaching Lucas line right now. She is about 30 meters out, but looking directly at the basket with nothing in the way. She throws a Potter Annie that gets a little kick off a rock on the right side, bouncing her a bit closer to the basket. She should have about a 7 or 8 meter putt left for her bogey 4. Maris is preparing for her par putt from underneath the hill with just over 20 meters of distance between her and the basket on top of that mound. She throws in an Anheuser putt, getting it just on the left side of the basket, but she should have an easy tap in for her bogey 4. Kristin throwing her birdie putt from a similar distance and a similar look. Kristin is just short of the basket on the short left side, but she should have an easy tap in for her par 3 here on hole 17 at Ford Disc Golf. This is the lead card for the ladies FPO division here at Dynamic Discs Tyyni 2019, presented by Latitude 64. You're watching the live coverage as we're approaching the end of the second round for our lead card. Unfortunately, it needs the top of the basket, and we'll have to settle for a bogey 4. Lykke taps in for her bogey 4. Maris taps in for her bogey 4. And with that tap in for par, Kristin Tattar moves herself to solo 3rd place with only 1 stroke separating her from our tied leaders Jenny and Lykke. Jenny had the chance to take solo lead on that hole, but unfortunately, because of that last putt hitting the top band, she could not make that move as of yet, and therefore we are still tied for 1st place. Remember that you can always check the live scoring and play-by-play scoring for all cards of both the FPO and NPO divisions competing here at Tyyni 2019 by going to udisclive.com and checking out the scores.
I had a 3. I had 4. 3? 4. 4. Sorry.
We're here now at the final hole, hole number 18, which is a 99-meter downhill shot, angling from left to right. The ladies are wishing the best of luck to the last hole, as Kristin is stepping up to the tee to take her shot on the last hole here at Ford Disc Golf Park. She goes with the sidearm, catches the wind a little bit, flips slightly to the left, and she unfortunately does not get that fade towards the right.
Yeah, go on.
Did you get birdie on the last one?
Mari's up next on the tee, opting to go sidearm as well. There is a slight right to left headwind against these ladies. She throws in the sidearm. That one is trailing towards the right, but is unfortunately a little short of the basket. She should be within 25 meters though. Lykke is going with a backhand anhyzer. She throws that shot extremely well. It's trailing between the trees, and she is nearly parked at about 10 meters beyond and left of the basket. Jenny, next up on the tee, opting to go backhand as well. And he throws in a hyzer flip that starts that late turn towards the right and stables at the end. She is in the middle of the fairway with about 15 meters left to go towards the pin. We're walking this final stretch towards the pin here at hole 18 on our moving day. Lead card action at the FPO Ladies Pro Open Division. Watching some pretty exciting battle going on, where the scores keep changing, the positions keep changing, and where this is still anybody's game. It looks like Kristin is the furthest away from the basket currently, with a little bit shy of 40 meters, 35 meters still left. She's slightly obstructed by those short trees, and I have to correct myself on that previous one. She is actually just inside circle 2, so she has about 18 meters only to go to the basket with a nearly open line. However, there's this one tree that is blocking that look at the basket. It seems Maris will be going first. She's about that similar distance away from the basket as Kristin is, with that one birch tree between her and the basket. When Anheuser putt just misses on the right side, but she should be able to tap in for her par from that position. She only has about 5 meters to go. Kristin up next from a similar distance of about 17, 18 meters or so. She hits the cage on the left low side of the basket. She also has another 5-meter putt ahead of her to finish her off her round and go for a possible par 3. Jenny and Lykke seem to be inside the circle, both of them, with Lykke standing the furthest away. She will have to straddle putt from that position. to get those trees out of the equation. She has about a 9-meter putt. She drains it in for a beautiful birdie 2 here on hole 18 at Ford. Jenni Eskelinen up next from 6 meters away from the basket. Trying to tie up. Luca takes the solo lead currently. She's thinking whether to go left or right side of that birch tree that she is perched behind. She cans in her 2 as well, so the lead is still tied. Up next is Kristin. Yes, that's easy work for her. A nice par 3 here on hole 18. And to finish off the round, Maris is looking to clean up hers. Unfortunately, Maris misses that straddle putt from the right side. Cleaning up her 4, so she will unfortunately have to settle for a bogey here on the final hole, 18 of the Ford Disc Golf Park. With these shots, the ladies have now finished the moving day round with Lykke and Jenni Eskelinen tied for the lead at 7 over par. Kristin Tattar in 3rd place, trailing the leaders with 2 strokes, going 9 over par. And after that slight mishap for Maris, she is now moving down to 4th place with her score of 11 over par, so trailing Kristin by 2 shots. She's in fact now tied for 4th place with Heidi Laine from Finland. And as always, you can check the actual scores and the play-by-play scores all over this tournament during today and still tomorrow for both FPO and MPO cards by checking in on udisclive.com. As the ladies finalize their scores, marking down their scores and bring their scorecards back to the tournament director to finish their round, we are also signing off from Ford Disc Golf Park here in Tuusula, Finland. This has been the moving day round, the 2nd round of the Dynamic Discs Tyyni 2019, presented by Latitude 64. My name was Tuomas, happy to be here again, and I will see you in just a few hours for the MPO lead card. See you later, bye.